In 1976, a dead pharaoh was issued a passport, and his occupation was listed as king. His name was Ramesses II, one of Egypt's greatest rulers, who died over 3,000 years ago. But in the 1970s, his mummy had a problem. It was decaying from a fungus. The best experts to save it were in France, so Egypt decided to fly the mummy to Paris. But there was a strange legal issue. By French law, anyone entering the country, even a dead one, needed a passport. So the Egyptian government issued one for a pharaoh who had been dead for 3,000 years. His profession on the passport? King, deceased. And when the mummy landed in France, it was welcomed with full military honors. Like a real king, a pharaoh, thousands of years old, treated like visiting royalty. Outside the Great Pyramid, it's burning desert heat. But inside, it's always the same cool temperature. The Egyptian desert can reach over 40 degrees Celsius. Yet, deep inside the Great Pyramid, the temperature stays around 20 degrees. All year round, it never changes. No matter how hot or cold it is outside. For a long time, people wondered how this was possible. The answer is in the pyramid's design. Its massive stone walls are so thick, they act as natural insulation. The heat from outside simply can't reach the inner chambers. It's the same principle used in modern, energy-efficient buildings. The ancient Egyptians built a structure that controls its own temperature. 4,500 years ago. A perfect climate, sealed in stone. The most famous pharaoh in history was born from a brother and sister, and it destroyed his body. King Tutankhamun ruled Egypt over 3,000 years ago. For centuries, he was a mystery, until modern science studied his mummy. DNA tests revealed something shocking. His parents were siblings, a brother and sister. In ancient Egypt, royals often married within their own family. They believed it kept the bloodline pure and divine. But it came at a terrible cost. Tutankhamun was born with serious health problems. A clubfoot, a weak body, and a bone disorder. He needed a cane just to walk. Over 100 canes were found in his tomb. He died young, around 18 years old. The Golden Boy King was secretly a frail, suffering child. King Tut was buried with a dagger made from a meteorite, a blade from outer space. When Tutankhamun's tomb was opened, they found many treasures, but one item stood out, a beautiful iron dagger, resting beside his body. For decades, it was a mystery, because in ancient Egypt, iron was extremely rare, rarer than gold. The Egyptians barely knew how to work with iron at that time, so where did this perfect blade come from? In 2016, scientists finally scanned it, and the answer was shocking. The iron in the dagger came from a meteorite. It literally fell from the sky. The Egyptians even had a name for it, iron from the sky. So King Tut was buried with a weapon forged from a piece of space. There was a time when salt was worth more than gold, and it changed the world. Today, salt is cheap. It's on every table, but for most of history, salt was incredibly valuable. It was the only way to preserve food before refrigerators existed. Without salt, meat would rot in days. With it, food could last for months. This made salt essential for survival and for armies at war. Roman soldiers were sometimes paid in salt. In fact, the word salary comes from the Latin word for salt. Entire trade routes and cities were built around it. Wars were even fought over salt. A simple mineral we ignore today was once one of the most powerful things on Earth. These people have been frozen in the same position for 2,000 years. In the year 79 AD, the Roman city of Pompeii was full of life. Then the volcano Vesuvius erupted. In just hours, the entire city was buried under thick volcanic ash. Thousands died instantly, frozen exactly where they stood. For centuries, Pompeii was forgotten, buried, and lost. But when archaeologists dug it up, they found something haunting. The ash had hardened around the bodies. Then the bodies decayed, leaving perfect hollow shapes. So scientists filled these hollows with plaster. And what came out was chilling. People, frozen in their final moment, running, covering their faces, holding each other. A city and its people perfectly preserved in the instant they died. Divers found a 2,000-year-old computer at the bottom of the sea, and no one can fully explain it. In 1901, divers exploring an ancient shipwreck near Greece found a strange lump of bronze. At first, it looked like junk, but inside were dozens of tiny gears. It was a machine, built over 2,000 years ago. Scientists were stunned. This kind of technology shouldn't have existed back then. After decades of study, they finally understood what it did. It could predict the positions of the sun, moon, and planets, track eclipses, and even follow the calendar. It was, essentially, the world's first analog computer, and nothing this advanced would appear again for over 1,000 years. A mechanical genius lost to the sea for 2,000 years. Napoleon, one of history's greatest generals, was once defeated by a swarm of rabbits. After signing a peace treaty, Napoleon wanted to celebrate with a rabbit hunt. His men gathered rabbits for the event, but they made a mistake. Instead of wild rabbits, they got tame ones. Rabbits used to being fed by humans, so when Napoleon arrived, the rabbits didn't run away. They charged straight at him, hundreds of them. They swarmed his legs, climbed his coat, and overwhelmed the emperor. Napoleon, who conquered most of Europe, was forced to retreat to his carriage, defeated by bunnies. You had a tail once, and it's still hidden inside your body. Before you were born, when you were just a tiny embryo, you had a tail. Around the 5th week, a small tail forms. It's clearly visible. But then your body absorbs it. It becomes part of your spine. That little bone at the base of your spine, the tailbone, that's what's left of it. But here's the wild part. Very rarely, the tail doesn't fully disappear. And some babies are actually born with a small tail. Doctors call it a vestigial tail. And it can even move. It's a leftover from millions of years of evolution, when our ancestors had tails. So you were basically a tailed creature for a few weeks before birth. Your body is not entirely yours. You're carrying DNA that isn't your own. It sounds impossible, but scientists have proven it. If you had a mother, some of her cells are still inside you, and they can stay for life. During pregnancy, cells pass between mother and baby. Some of those cells settle in the brain, heart, and other organs. So a part of your mother is literally living inside your body right now. But it gets stranger. Your body has around 30 trillion human cells, but it also holds nearly 40 trillion bacterial cells. That means, by cell count, you are more bacteria than human. You are not one single being. You're a walking ecosystem, a collection of trillions of lives, all working together as you. The worst year to be alive wasn't during a war or a plague. It was 536 AD. That year, a mysterious fog covered the entire world, and the sun disappeared for 18 months. Days were dark, temperatures dropped, snow fell in summer, crops failed everywhere. Millions starved. For years, no one knew why. Then scientists found the answer in ancient ice. A massive volcano had erupted, filling the sky with ash that blocked the sun. It was the beginning of the coldest decade in thousands of years. People at the time simply wrote, "The sun gave no light. The year the world went dark."